So another thing that I was going to ask you about. So I remember when you spoke about like your what you learned from your past relationship, and you was like, you was proud of yourself. Many things you learned in lessons and shit like that, whatever, insight. But one thing is like you realize that, oh no, I can commit to this woman, have no other temptation. I was fine with that, whatever. So recently I was talking to a friend.
It's a big thing for me, like real big, to be able to commit. Because I understood that was an area of like improvement that I needed to develop. And not that so fun fact, like I only ever cheated in one of my relationships. I never cheated in none of my other relationships, but it was still like a certain level of commitment that I wasn't committed to. It's like being in a relationship, but I'm not really locked in with you. So when I did that, it was like, oh, we can argue and I can still stay committed. Oh, we can go through this and I can have to deal with that and I can still stay committed. So it was all of these different variables that equipped me to feel confident knowing like, oh, I can commit. So now any other situation, even though that didn't go the distance, I know that I'm capable. And that's sometimes what you just be needing to see.
And I'm glad you said that to elaborate on it, because I was talking to a friend of mine recently. He was talking about, yeah, Kim, I just feel like marriage. And he wasn't being like down on my, recent marriage, but he was like, yeah, marriage.
Was this the Miami conversation?
No.
All right.
No. Yeah, I feel like marriage just isn't really a thing. I mean, I don't really think it's possible because my friend recently getting divorced. And that was like the last relationship that I thought, if they don't make it, then no one can make it. They get divorced. And the thing that stood out to me was he kept harping on that he ain't even cheat. And he ain't even cheat. And he even cheat. I was thinking like, yo, like men really have convinced ourselves that when nigga don't cheat, then nothing else matters.
So she left him?
He didn't really go into detail of that. It's just like they just filing for divorce per se.
I think people, because I've said this about both, people have developed this exception to what society deemed to be a successful relationship, being monogamy. Like they think that that's the one pillar. Then they get that monogamous connection, and then they don't connect it nowhere else. And they like, why y'all break up? Oh, because of this, that, and the third. And they automatically think that if it's not cheating, then then the relationship should work. But it's like actually cheating is like only the headline to a story that most people don't look beyond. There's so many other things that lead up to that, that even caused and be as a result of that play a factor that people don't even equate to. They just look at the end all be all like, well, did you or did you not cheat? But it's like, if a person feel neglected, devalued, demeaned, disrespected, all of these things can make a person want to leave without even having to be cheated on. Like, you know what I'm saying? But most people, men and women, think that if a person don't cheat on you, that don't mean that they not cheating you in other areas. Like, you cheating me out of my peace of mind. Yeah. You cheating me out of my ability to grow. You cheat me out of my ability to have a situation worth building it. Just because you holding it down sexually don't mean that you're not cheating me in other areas. So.
For sure. And I think it was poignant when you said you were committed. You're not saying like necessarily only just meaning about not cheating. No, I'm committed to you. Yeah. When we argue, I'm still here. So that's what was kind of echoing my mind, where he's like, the guy didn't cheat. I'm just like, but I don't know this nigga, but like, was he just a dope husband? Like, I don't fucking know. And the only thing he ended up saying, like, yeah, like, but this nigga even gave her a whole check. I mean, his whole check, he would get paid. She get the whole thing. I'm just like, well, just that one element sounds like something that's not sustainable. Yeah. Like, if I'm giving anybody my whole check, I'm probably not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, nah, eventually.
Yeah, so, and if she's not satisfied, she sounds like a person that's not happy internally in general.
Or just not happy with that type of, like, because that might be her love language.
That's it. Yeah. But I'm like, it just sounds like it's a lot of hair at play. And because a nigga didn't cheat don't mean like, man, I don't know, it's a perfect nigga, perfect relationship. Then. But I think because, again, like, a lot of niggas don't be disciplined, with their dick, whatever, basically. It's like, if a nigga is like, yo, that nigga, he just the best. And like, no, but it's a lot. Like you said, it's a lot of things to a relationship. And I feel it's like just an immature. I won't say immature. It's just like a less enlightened view of like relationships. Because when you really locked in with someone, relationship wise, love, a lot of shit happens. A lot of shit can be not breaking points, but like little fractures.
Oh, that's a fact.
Like little fractures along
blemishes.
Bunch
of blemishes.
Yeah, and whether it leads to cheating or not, it can lead to the break because it's like, yo, like, nigga, like, I'm just not into it. We're not in sync no more. We ain't compatible. We ain't aligned.
And I think that, like,
and now we're divorced.
When you really committed, cheating don't even be your thought. Like that's like a prerequisite of a relationship. That's something you think about before getting cheating. You better not cheat. But when you kind of get into the relationship, you're doing the day-to-day antics and how relationships operate. Cheating is not a day-to-day thought. Something has to transpire for you to think your partner is cheating on you. You don't just walk around unless you have internal things that you need to work on, insecurities, or unless you're just not right within self. So it makes you see things through a distorted perspective and a distorted lens because you have fucked up things that you might have done and experienced that make you think that people are all out just cheating. But for the most part, you kind of just going through the day-to-day antics and you'll find a lot of other annoyances and things that could become a nuisance to you that you can find yourself being unattracted to your partner or disconnected from them. That can be worked through. That's where it's like, that's why I say I was committed, because it was like, I wasn't really worried about that, because when you self-confident within self, I'm not just thinking that I'm somebody that just get cheated on. It's not like I'm just thinking up like, who you gonna find that's better than me today that might cheat. I'm not thinking like that. I'm thinking like, if you do that, that's on you. I really understand within self that I'm offering something that is not, you can't just find anywhere. So I'm not thinking you about to just get that up. But it's the other variables. Okay, how much do you respect me? How much do you respect what we build? How involved are you? How much are you working on yourself? How much am I able to work on myself? How much peace are we able to provide for internally that then creates a peaceful environment? These are the other things. Or when there is chaos, how committed are we to a solution, right? And it's like, when you committed in that way, that is the thing that can even make or break a situation, or committed or not committed, essentially. But just cheating, that's just like that comes behind a lot of being disregarded, a lot of being, neglected, a lot of being disrespected. That's when that's become, unless you're just dealing with a cheater. But it's like, if a person is just a cheater, then that means you just made a poor judging character.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that shouldn't be a conversation that should be so widespread. But what happens is, so many relationships talk about how they ended. When it goes to there, they never talk about the 98 other incidents before that. It's like, yeah, oh, she ended up cheating, oh, I ended up cheating, or he ended up cheating. And it's like, but it was 98 micro things that transpired, a lot of micro commitments that was broken way before the cheating even transpired. So why are we only talking about one thing when it was so many other things that caused this disconnect?